bear with me here because what I'm going to say might sound a little bit crazy. But do you know that many of our kids actually don't know how to breathe? Well, they know how to breathe. They don't know how to take a deep breath. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about today because it's so important that our kids know how to take a deep breath, and we often have to teach them this. So why deep breathing is so important is we all know it's probably one of the best tools for relaxation that we have, right? To decrease anxiety, to help us when we're nervous. We can always take a deep breath anytime, any place. So a great tool to use. But what happens is if we don't know how to take an effective breath, we can actually be doing more harm than good. And this is why we need to help our kids learn this skill. There's a real art to deep breathing. So what I mean by this is when we don't take deep breaths, when we're shallow breathing, which I think if we all thought about it, most of us probably take a majority of our breaths during our day are shallow breaths. But when we're shallow breathing, we are really only activating the upper lobes of our lungs, and the upper lobes of our lungs actually activate the fight, flight, or fright mode, the part of our nervous system that when we see blue lights in the rear view mirror or feel a spider on our leg, make us swat at it, our heart starts beating faster, we might start sweating. So if we're deep breathing, we're staying in that kind of anxious state. But when we can take a deep belly breath, we actually activate the lower lobes of our lungs, which activates the part of the nervous system that helps us to relax. So important that kids understand how to take a deep belly breath. It's especially important for our kids who might have weaker cores, because what happens when kids have a weaker core, they tend to use their diaphragm a little bit more for core stabilization than they do for breathing. So again, if they're not using their diaphragm for breathing, then again, we're not getting those good effective breaths. But the good news is actually taking those good deep belly breaths is actually one of the best ways to strengthen those really deep core muscles. So we can get a good ab workout just by taking deep breaths. So what I like to do with kids is I like to lay them on their back, and I put my hands on their belly, and I tell them to picture there's a balloon in their stomach, and there's a straw that goes from their nose all the way down to that balloon. So breathe in and fill that balloon, and breathe out and empty that balloon out. I say sometimes I'll give them the cues of breathe in like you're smelling the birthday cake, and breathe out like you're blowing out the birthday candles, because a good exhale is going to help us to get a nice good inhale right behind it. So just put your hand on your belly so they also get that good feedback, that physical feedback from feeling your hands rise and fall. You can also put their hands on their belly so they can feel their hands rise or fall. But just lay them down. A great time to do this is before bedtime because we want to relax them anyway. So lay them down. And then again, hands on the belly, give them those cues of inhaling, exhaling, filling the balloon, and emptying the balloon. And then encourage them throughout their day. When you can see they're a little bit anxious, worked up, having trouble on their schoolwork, and they're getting nervous, they're mad at their brother or sister, or whatever it is, just say, put your hand on your belly and take a deep breath. And I always cue them about putting their hand on their belly, because I want them, until they get used to it, I want them to really feel if they're taking an adequate breath or not. So I hope that helps. Like I said, deep breathing is a great tool to use. We just have to know how to use it correctly. If you like this content, please hit the like button, subscribe, so whenever I put out content, you'll be the first to know. And as always, please feel free to leave comments or questions down below. So thank you.